To me, the highlight, as far as the shuls are concerned, because I've repeated this story so many times, is how our shuls were built. Because I think it's an example, as far as I'm concerned, for the rest of Canada. The old shul was in 5th Street, which was the old Crowland section. But as there was a progression of affluence, the community started moving away to the downtown area, to the little nicer section. And at the Board of Trustees meeting, they decided we should sell this shul and build another shul. But you couldn't build another shul, they didn't have the money. But they could buy on Garner Avenue a hall, and with a little bit of imagination, it could be your community center. And during the high holidays, you could break open a curtain, you've got your Oren Kodesh and so forth and so on. And this was done. There was a family here, he just died, Mr. Anishevsky. Mrs. Anishevsky still lives in Welland. That's the parents of Dr. Ennis and Bunny Ennis. And he brought forth that we could build a shul, a proper shul. He went ahead and he bought the land on Summit Avenue and put it in escrow that the community would buy it but to make sure, because land was selling fast there. They bought the 3 lots, they're choice lots, by the way. And they decided that they could sell this shul, the hall, the community center type of thing, to the Oddfellows. And with that money, and a little bit of taxing, a little bit of fun, we could build this shul. They decided to go ahead with that. In his wisdom, and he was a brilliant, brilliant businessman. He double talked you to death, but he was brilliant. He canceled the insurance. The premium was coming due. He canceled because we had sold it to the Oddfellows. And on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, the community gathered to have a party, that this was the last party in this shul, and we have it sold, and then we'll move and build a new shul. That night at the party, one of the women threw a cigarette in the garbage, and it was alive. No insurance. On Monday morning, the Jewish community burnt down without 1 nickel equity. This is when I think the city grew up, as far as I'm concerned. The first phone call that we got was from a Catholic. I know his name, Harry Diffin, was in the construction supply business. He phoned Harry Carroll, he says, look, when you people build your synagogue, I will donate all the concrete that goes into it. That was the first donation. We get another request from a minister who had just built, and I can't think of his name. He died out west in Winnipeg, I think it was. But he was the minister, Anglican or United Church, and he had just built a new church, St. David's. And he offered to run the campaign. He went to Harry Carroll and offered his services to run the campaign to raise money to build a shul. We went out and started scrounging money. And then a newspaper editorial, a lead editorial, appeared in the local paper. The publisher was a fellow by the name of Henry Foster. And in essence, what the editorial said was very simple. That the Jewish community suffered a severe loss. The members of the Jewish community were at the forefront of everything of any consequence, and it's about time that the non-Jewish community showed their appreciation. And to put it all in a very complete nutshell, over 20% of the money that went into the building of that, and it's a beautiful shul, that went into the building of that shul, came from non-Jews. There's a woman to this day sends in $10 a year anonymously. Only one person knew who she was. and he's dead, so nobody knows, and that $10 still comes in.